Good evening, everybody. It is the 12th of February 2017, and we start with the news that full-time YouTuber and hermit Nerd³ is appearing at Coxcon this year. I am doing my first ever proper official con as a guest. Like, I'll be there probably doing signings and things. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to be doing there, but I will be there. And there will be me, and you could meet me if that, for some reason, interests you. There'll be also much more interesting people there, like Jesse Cox and Dodger. But I will be there as well, which is... I know Coxcon's kind of a smaller con, but I'm doing a smaller con to see how it goes, and maybe we'll expand and go to other countries and things. But for now, Telford is far enough. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see how that goes. If you happen to be going to Coxcon, come say hi. I think it'll be a fun time. I think tickets are on sale now. I should know, really. I'm really crap at the whole, we got t-shirts and stuff. When do I ever market them? Never. We got a Patreon. That Patreon is currently keeping this entire fucking company running. I desperatally need as much out of that as possible. Do I ever mention it? I do not. Oh, the Toys channel just started up as well. Oh, actually, on the Toys channel, we're currently covering all the LEGO modular buildings. Every Friday, I'll be doing one of the LEGO modular buildings, starting with a new 4002-piece assembly square. They're my favourite things, and I love them so much. Also, Wednesdays, other things will start. Doesn't matter. Live streams are going well. Anyway, let's get on to the actual news. We start, again, with the news that Valve have released a brand new game in June of last year, and I had no idea. There is a game called Destinations made by Valve, and it's kind of like just a VR go have a look at Tower Bridge thing. It's just kind of like a VR thing, by the way. It's just a full VR thing, and it completely missed me by, but it is actually a game made by Valve. It's in early access. I think they're adding bits to it as it goes on, but you can go to Valve HQ and you can go to Mars and all these other things, which is interesting. Cock, I mentioned what. Hang on, I wrote it down. Let me check the thing. Try Hard Parking. That's the name of the game in the background that Matt has sent me footage of. I totally forgot to do that, Matt. I wrote it down though, so I could check it then. Skillful. But yeah, Steam doing a VR thing. Try Hard Parking's on Steam, etc. Steam have made a VR game. They're still making a VR game. They've also announced they're making 3 full VR games. That's what they're currently working on. This was where was this? They did a media roundtable. That's the word I was looking for. I couldn't remember roundtable. I was never a knight in Camelot. But they're making 3 full games, not experiments. Full, proper, whole games. I'm gonna take a wild stab at what these 3 games are. I think they'll have one new IP, like totally new, by itself, batshit weird thing. I think they'll set something in Aperture Science, and I think they'll set something more directly tied into the Half-Life universe. So, you know, Aperture Science technically is the Half-Life universe, but I think more, something more Half-Lifey. That's what I think that we'll get out of those. But they're making 3 full and proper games, and as much as I love VR, a lot of the things are experiments, and they're still amazing. But when you get a full game out of it, like Job Simulator, which is a full game, 4 hours is a full game for me. Fuck it, it's fine. We've only had 4 hours of John Wick in our lives, and John Wick's amazing. The John Wick VR game just came out. I haven't played that yet. I need to set my VR back up. That's the reason there's been no VR videos on the channel, because I was moving my whole house around so the bigger rooms could be work rooms instead of sleeping rooms, because what's the point of that? And I just haven't got around to sorting everything out yet. It just takes fucking forever, and there's wallpaper to strip and paint, and that bit's all done. Now we're moving things around, and I had to set my Lego town back up, and But anyway, yeah, Valve making full and proper games. It's nice to know they're actually working on something. Will one of them be Half-Life 3? I don't know. You know, I wouldn't be... If they said that Half-Life 3 will be totally playable in VR, I wouldn't be surprised. I also won't play that because, holy shit, that would be fucking nightmares. Head crabs actually on your actual face is what diarrhea is made of. It's not... You know what I mean? It's not... Wouldn't be the best fun. And on a downside of VR news, Oculus are closing 200 Best Buy demo stations. So they have the demo stations where you test it and stuff. In this country, fucking people charged for them in game, because of course they did. But apparently, they're stopping these demo stations. Now, VR needs to be demoed for people to buy it, but I kind of think, like, VR's never going to be massive. I think VR is always going to be enthusiast hardware. If the Vive has made money, then VR will go forever, but it's always going to be high-end enthusiast stuff. I mean, there's the low-end stuff like PSVR, but I don't actually see it taking off when I see the kind of damaging stuff. I don't like PSVR. We've been through why I don't like PSVR. It's wobbly and it's not as good. And still, even in my new office, it doesn't fucking work very well at all. It's crap. That needs like another set of eye toys and getting lights and strings and stuff and one behind you. 3 more sets of eye toys would make that thing work a bit better. But yeah, that's kind of a shame that maybe VR is not going to be huge. But I always said that VR isn't the future of gaming. VR is going to be its own side thing. And it's going to, I think, when sports takes over VR and starts doing, hey, come watch the World fucking Cup live, like you're sitting at the front row, that's when VR is going to explode. That's my thing. If you can stick your phone to your face and watch, you know, Brazil versus another Brazil. My only knowledge of football is Brazil are good. Actually, were they beaten in the last World Cup or something? So much so that Brazil then set fire to itself. Brazil no longer exists as a country because they lost a football match. That's what I remember happening. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, but VR is its own thing. It's definitely its own thing, and it's going to be okay for that. I think. I hope. I hope it stays enthusiast hardware. I mean, when it comes down, it'll be good, but I hope it comes down on the quality of the Vive. Like, in a couple years, the Vive's definitely going to be a lot cheaper, so they'll probably have different options. They have the really expensive stuff, then the kind of the cheapery things. And those cheapery things is what's going to really start selling it. I just hope like stuff like PSVR doesn't do too much damage before then. Right, what else is in my news? My news. Oh, we had a delay of a game I'm actually quite excited by. South Park, The Fractured But Whole. Incidentally, the best fucking title for a game. It's been delayed a little bit. They said it was going to be the first quarter of this year, but Ubisoft have now put it in their next fiscal year, whatever it's called, whatever, tax thing, which means it's going to be coming out from April this year to March next year. So it's still going to, I still put money on it being April, May, June time, but it's not going to be in the first quarter this year. It's kind of, yeah, I mean, the Stick of Truth was delayed 2 years over its course of things, so, and it came out great, I suppose. I really need to replay that. I mean, I when it first came out, I wasn't a fan of South Park, and it's not a very good game, and I said, this is a great game if you're a fan of South Park. It's kind of alienating if you're not, because a lot of things are references. And now, I kind of want to replay it, because it's still not a great game, but I wonder if I can get some of the references, because I'm like 9 series into South Park. Quite like South Park. I'm kind of excited for this. They look like they put more game into it, into the Fractured But Whole. And I hope there's just a few Book of Mormon references in there as well, because I like the Book of Mormon. But that's a little disappointing, because Ubisoft have this big talk thing where they go, oh, it's a financial talk, whatever it's, I don't fucking know. They also said that Watch Dogs 2 had a soft, their words, launch sales. Launch sales weren't what they're expecting, but they were still happy with them. It wasn't as good as they thought. I think it wasn't as good as they thought because Watch Dogs 1 was a piece of shit. Watch Dogs 1 did damage. It wasn't very good at all. It was a neat concept they just didn't really do very well with. Watch Dogs 2 is totally different, and from what you've seen on this channel, utterly wonderful. It's nuts. It's a fantastic fucking game. I've finished it now. I don't know when this is going to be done. Actually, it might be finishing in the next couple of days. I'd say in the next few days, Watch Dogs 2 will wrap up as a series before something else comes along. Hint, it's a permadeath. But yeah, it was a great game, and it's kind of, it sucks that this one hasn't sold as well as Watch Dogs 1. And also, Ubisoft seemed to say that they're not going to be doing more IPs. They're going to be focusing on older, like, what they've currently, you know, they're older ones and just doing those. They're not going to really focus on big IPs again, because they went kind of big. They had, Steep was one they launched. Steep didn't do very well at all. Again, because it was very good. But Steep 2 will be amazing. It'll be really self-aware and have a dude with, like, emoticons for his face or whatever the fuck was Wrench was. And Rainbow Six is apparently doing super well. Rainbow Six Siege is, like, going, like, nuts. It's got a massively accelerating thing. We played that on the last live stream. You know, honestly, I didn't really like it very much. I was kind of hyped when I first saw it. Years and years ago when it was E3, I was like, that could be a really good game. But I find it really stop-starty. Like, every time you quit a game, it fucking kicks you all out. And I find it really just, you play for a few seconds, then get shot, and then you have to wait for the game to end. And I know they're short games, but I found it very just, I don't know. It felt good in places, but it didn't feel like the rest of it was justifying that. Like, it's not like Battlefield. For me, the ultimate multiplayer game is still Battlefield 1, where you load into, fucking love Battlefield 1. I'm playing a shit ton of that. It's not a great World War 1 game, it's a great Battlefield game. But you load into a thing, and it takes a few minutes, but then you're in there for 30 fucking minutes, and it's intense the entire time. It's, But I don't think that Siege has that. It's shorter, more focused kind of burst, but I just don't really think that works. It should be more intense considering you got the permadeath thing, but it's just more frustrating than anything because you just get killed by someone who's 77 levels higher than you. It's very MOBA-like now, is Rainbow Six Siege, because they've got these operators. If you watch it, there's operators, and they all have different abilities and stuff. They're the people that you play as, and they've all got different abilities, and so they're trying to balance all these abilities and make all these abilities, you know, useful and less useful. It's starting to feel very like a MOBA, and it's going to have all these characters, and you have to buy the DLC to get the characters and all that guff. So maybe it's going to go a different way. I don't really like that sort of thing. I just like to have Team 1, Team 2, fucking go with it. It's my kind of multiplayer game. Instead of just small, I like grander scale. I mean, if you can have loads of people playing, have fucking loads of people playing. Actually, on that note, the Nerd³ fleet in Star Trek Online is now live. There's something in the subreddit that you can click on, or Matt's Twitter, that says, I want to put my thing in. You put your character name and handle in, and then we'll add you to the fleet. And we're having fun. We're building Space Station at the moment, and it's got a fish tank in it. Was the most recent addition. So if you happen to like fish and space, we got the game for you. I think they're hollow fish, though, because it's nicer. I don't know. Actually, on sales news, Final Fantasy 15 broke even on launch day. Which is, it's good to know. That's a good game. I do enjoy Final Fantasy 15. I'm excited to play it. We're getting very close to that patch coming out with the 60 FPS patch, so that's when I'll actually give it proper time of day. But yeah, it's nice that I think they sold a few million copies, and that was enough to. It was a much bigger, different kind of game. I was slightly worried that it wouldn't sell, and then they go back to boring JRPG games. But I kind of hope they see this and go, hey, we can make something a bit weird and strange that doesn't focus on shitty turn-based combat. Oh, I know Final Fantasy fans are pissed, but fuck them. They've had 14 of the fucking games. Start making them for me. Oh, it's true. Actually, what was the other fucking thing we had this week? Call of Duty. Call of Duty is going to, and this is a quote, return to its roots after Infinite Warfare sales disappoint. Apparently the space setting didn't resonate. It's just kind of the fact that it got kind of crushed. I've not actually played it. I normally play every Call of Duty because their campaigns are normally okay. I mean, recently they've been kind of shitty. But I just didn't want to. Titanfall 2 gave me the campaign that I wanted from space, and Battlefield 1 was doing my multiplayer. So I kind of felt like Call of Duty just didn't give me anything. I'm about to say, if I can find that cheap, I'll pick it up. But they tend to not get very cheap very quickly. Oh well, it did not sell well at all though, but I think that's more, instead of the space setting, I think that's just more Call of Duty fatigue. I think it needs to take a couple of years off. I mean, it's not going to, because they have that 3-year rotation. They've got 3 developers working on Call of Duty, where they'll make a thing, and then they release every 3 years. So their games take 3 years to make, and then they're releasing every 3 years. Which is nuts. That's nuts. That's a silly way of doing it. Especially, if that's a big amount of money thrown into it. I mean, it probably still made money. Of course it fucking made money. It's Call of Duty. But it didn't make enough for Activision. The hoarders of money. So that's a shame. Space seems a bit more interesting. I mean, returning to its roots, I assume that means they're going to go World War. World War II was likely, I would say, which is Call of Duty's things, especially after World War I's Battlefield 1 setting did so well. I don't know where Battlefield's going to go. Battlefield 2! And it's now saying World War II, and everyone will get really confused and kill themselves. But yeah, that's a thing. What else is in my news pile today? Fallout 4! Had its official high-res texture pack. Did you see this? Did you have a look at how big that is? To get high-resolution textures in Fallout 4 is 58 gigs. 58 gigabytes for high textures. I love Fallout 4. I think it's a great game. I know some people don't, but that's because I've not played any other Fallouts. Actually, I quite like 1. Big fan of Fallout 1. But Fallout 4, it's not worth it. Like, for slightly high... Like, I'm not a graphics snob. When it comes to PC versus consoles, I don't go, oh, we got better graphics. I go, we've got better frame rates. And that's the thing that I care about. Resolution can go fucking take a hike. If it's 1080p, it's done. We don't need anything else. 720 is mostly fine. But, like, high textures, I don't give a shit. I don't look at textures and go, oh, they're a bit low. Like, if a texture's janky, it doesn't matter because I'm moving and it's not super important. I just like 60 FPS. That's my thing. I like a nice, smooth frame rate. Which is true. There was a thing that has just jumped into my head that I haven't got on my list, but I'm going to have to put down. Oh! Right, I've mentioned on this channel before that I fucking love Puyo Pop. Right, the Dr. Bronic's Mean Bean Machines sort of Tetris-like puzzly game thing. There's a game called Puyo Pop Tetris, which is a fusion of Puyo Pop and Tetris. Actually, it's called Puyo Puyo Tetris, not Puyo Pop Tetris, because Puyo Pop was Puyo Pop Fever. Puyo Puyo is a different thing, but it's still the same thing. So Puyo Puyo Tetris is coming out, right? This is weird. It said it was coming out on the Nintendo Switch, and my brain went, fuck, have to now buy a Nintendo Switch, because it came out in Japan like 50 years ago, this game did. But it's finally coming out in the Western world where I can buy it and be like, yay! But it's coming out on the Nintendo Switch and the PS4. But only in a physical copy. The PS4 is not getting a digital copy of it for some fucking reason. I don't understand. Why would you not? That, to me, Puyo Pop Tetris, or Puyo Puyo Tetris, is the most digital game ever. The Switch is getting a digital version. It's a small little game. But I don't understand. It's also actually more expensive on the Switch than it is on the PS4. Fucking hilarious. But I guess I'm going to buy that. I guess I'm going to play the shit out of that. It's only going to be like $30. It's a smaller sort of game. But yeah, Puyo Puyo Tetris. You're going to see a video on that on this channel when it comes out in April. Late April, if I remember rightly. Which I may not. Another release we had. Destiny 2 is coming out. You don't care? Good. TimeSplitters Rewind got a trailer. Quite possibly the worst trailer I've ever seen in my entire life. TimeSplitters Rewind is a remake of the older ones. It's a remake of the older TimeSplitters. Because they're not making new TimeSplitters. They made TimeSplitters 1, 2, 3, and then Haze is what Free Radical made after that. Haze. Remember that video I made on Haze? Yeah, that's a brown, boring game. That was not a good game. It's nothing like what they were doing as well, which really that was really the era when everything went dark. Everything was just like, we're going dark now, so fucking tough. But anyway, somebody's remaking TimeSplitters. I know a lot of people, very few people have actually played TimeSplitters 1. TimeSplitters 2 is heralded as the best first-person shooter on the PS2 incorrectly. And for me, TimeSplitters 3 was the best. Future Perfect is wonderful. I think that's when they nailed everything. The single player was the best, and the multiplayer was fantastic. I used to play that shit online with the network edition from my PS2, and I used to just play fucking sniping monkeys on that fucking Frozen level because they thought they were awesome. But you had a sniper rifle that could shoot through walls because fuck it. Fuck balance. Have tiny things and big things and things with more health and T-Rexes and... Don't make games like that anymore, do they? But they're remaking games like that, so TimeSplitters Rewind's got its trailer. It's also apparently coming out this year. So that was nice. And yeah, it was the trailer's awful though. It's just like the time crystals fucking around in space. It's just some time crystals floating, and then it's like 60 years long as well. It's a really long trailer to do absolutely nothing. But there's lots of things going, ooh, and then it ends. So that's it. Actually, the logo sits on screen for about 50 seconds before it ends. But yeah, that was a terrible, terrible trailer. You could have just gone, coming soon, TimeSplitters Rewind! Or have some footage of the old TimeSplitters and rewind through it. Or 1,000 other things you could have done, not just floaty green crystals, because that was boring as shite. Speaking of boring of shite, Grand Theft Auto 4 is now out on Xbox One. I just want to bring this up. The Microsoft are doing an incredible job with getting backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. I'm super, super proud that we are saving the last generations into this one. I've thought I like that. I like that's good. I know Grand Theft Auto 4 is a weird one. Again, it's that early PS3 era where nobody really knew what they were doing, but they wanted to make it very adult and grown up because they could do better graphics, and it didn't work. It doesn't work. Grand Theft Auto 4 isn't good. We'll admit that to ourselves one day. But hey, do you want to go bowling? Yeah, but it's coming out on Xbox, and I like that. Oh, actually, this week we've actually had Microsoft and Sony have done some really nice news. Microsoft have continued to support their backwards compatibility, which is awesome, and Sony have put out a boost mode for the PS4 Pro. Now, the boost mode ups the frame rate in various games. So basically, if you're playing a game on the PS4 Pro, if it's not been patched for the Pro, you can still get a boost. Hang on, there's a Eurogamer article. I always link all things in the description that say, like, and you can see, like, how well things are going. So on the PS4, some of them actually, the patch does better. So you may not want to use the boost mode if they've already got the official patch that makes it better. Like boost mode is worse for NAC because they've already got a patch that puts it up to almost 60. And now I've clicked the wrong button. That's amazing. Go me. There we go. So Assassin's Creed Unity, which runs at 22 FPS on a PS4. Now sits at a solid 30, so it's doing a lot of nice stabling. You get what is it, Battlefield 4? Yeah, Battlefield 4 goes from around 48 FPS to a smooth 60, which is nice. BioShock goes from 50 to 60, so you're getting a nice. It's smoothing things off quite nicely. I mean, something like Killzone Shadowfall, which was at 35 FPS, now gets boosted up to 40. Not a huge amount. Not a huge amount, but that was a game that I think worked pretty well anyway. What's that one? Mighty Number 9. Nobody gives a shit how well that does. Mirror's Edge Catalyst. It gets its drops capped off, so it no longer has those frame rate drops. What else we got? Project Cars has an increase from 40.5 FPS to 55.5 FPS. That's a huge 38% improvement. That's marvellous, that is. And what's this one? Shanty. What the fuck is Shanty? I've never heard of Shanty. But apparently it clears up all the performance issues, which is nice. And then there's a Tomb Raider game, which goes from 55 to 60. It's a nice mode. Apparently it's a bit experimental, so occasionally you might get some weird shit happen with your games. But it starts using the PS4 Pro's processing power for good. So if you happen to have a PS4 Pro, you're actually going to start getting a better experience across all your games. Now, the big question, which for some reason Eurogamer decided to not put in their disc, is Bloodborne. And the only reason I've not yet played Bloodborne is because it runs like dog shite on the PS4. Apparently on the PS4 Pro, with that mode on, it's a lot better. It's not 60, but it's consistent. It hits a consistent frame rate. There's no drops. Even in the areas that were heavy drops or like special effects that did a lot of shit, that all goes away and it's a smooth frame rate. I think I will finally get around to playing Bloodborne, which I'm quite excited by. It interests me a bit more than Dark Souls. I quite enjoyed Dark Souls 3. But yeah, apparently that's how I'm going to finally play Bloodborne, is with the PS4 Pro on boost mode, which is quite a nice thing. I think that's everything I want to talk about today. I'm pretty tired. I want to have a drink. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to have a very brief drink. I've had that sitting there. I'm one of those people like picks a drink up and I keep talking and then I put it down, then I pick it up and then I keep talking. I'm glad this isn't on webcam. You'd all go mad. I like to end on a little bit of good news, and here's a nice little bit of good news. Somebody has made a new Pokemon game. Now, you get these sort of unofficial mods and all that sort of thing. This is a full 60 to 80 hour Pokemon game. It's called Pokemon Cobalt and Pokemon Amethyst. Amethyst, that's the word. And it's in Minecraft. It's a Minecraft map. You download this Minecraft map and probably a few other things that make it go, and you can play a 60 to 80 hour Pokemon RPG in Minecraft. I am totally going to have a go at this at some point, but I love that someone had the sheer dedication to build that. I don't know if there's got any, like, of the old Pokemon. It might be entirely new Pokemon they made for it. There's 136 Pokemon to catch in it. And it's full storyline and everything. Like, it's a proper full Pokemon game built into one Minecraft map. Like, that must have taken years. Well done to everybody involved in that. I hope it's good. I'll have a play of that later. But anyway, that's the news. And that's everything to go for this time. I hope you had fun listening to me talk. Next week, there will be some free games. And a mobile phone game that's also free, but not really. And I swear at it. I swear at it a lot. See you then.